All right. So we discussed here that we are creating content, saving content, editing the content, and saving the content again. So main thing is we are doing this again and again. So uh, version control provides clarity that when we did the changes, why we did it, and what contents of the change were. So now if I would give you a like bookish definition, what is version control doing? So it is a system which records the changes to a file or a set of files over time. So try to understand this. It may be like for a file, it may be for list of files. And because you know in Linux there is everything is a file. So uh, because I explained it to you earlier also that in uh, version control, the main help that it provides is that we can recall the specific versions later. Like suppose you release the version 4.2.4 and you want to go to 3.10. So you can do it easily. That is the main role of the version control. I hope you guys are able to understand that what is the role of version control here and how it can help us in daily tasks, irrespective of being in any field. So, all right, so I'm proceeding.
Yeah, go on.
So now we understood a brief overview that what is version control. Now comes the main point that why we should use it, irrespective of our department. So first of all, it helps in the versioning of file. So if you know Git a bit, uh, like I'm not expecting you to know, but there is like git log command is there. Like similarly, the way you see logs there, similar way you can see in Git. I will be showing all those commands. First of all, I will try to like cover the presentation that we have, and then in between you can raise questions, and then I will show you the demo also of how these things are done. So I will give you a brief overview right now in the Git, and then as we proceed, I will show you each command there only in the terminal. Okay, then it helps in maintaining the history of file changes, like that I explained earlier also. Like suppose you have released one file like Robin v1. Okay, next when you try to commit the next file, then it would be Robin v2, Robin v3. This way, like you can see the file that you can understand. Once you like open that file, then you can there is a command like git show. In git show you can see that who made the changes and what changes were made there. So git show can show you the exact changes that you want. All right, so guys, don't take it in a boring way. Like I'm trying to build your basics, and then we will have session on the uh, like on the terminal also. So I'm just giving you an overview. uh, then it helps in collaboration. This is the main point of Git. Understand this. If someone asks you what is the main use of Git, it is that it helps in collaboration, because there might be like Asan, you and Ankit, you both might be work on the same file, and and me also, we are working on the same file, and we are editing it, and we are able to commit it. So that is the main role. If you are like, if you have opened a Excel file on a shared drive, then you won't be able to make changes while Ankit is making changes, or Ankit won't be able to make changes while Asan is making changes. So this is the beauty of Git, that multiple people can collaborate on the same file, and this is very helpful in a production environment. All right, then I would explain you that how you can compare the changes between different versions of file. So like suppose you committed commit one, and after that commit two. You want to see like what are the differences in these committed files, that you can see using git diff. There you can check git diff, and like whenever you commit there is a like unique code that is generated for that commit. So first seven numbers of that code is called SHA1, SHA number one. So that you can compare between different SHA1s, and then you can see what was the actual change that happened in that. Ankit, are you getting it? Are you able to follow along?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All
Yes, sir.
right, good, good. So this way I will explain, I will show you that how you can see the changes between different files, or see the changes between the same file, what update has happened with it. And there are like I'm giving you a holistic overview of the complete Git. So we will go into each thing in detail, so don't get burdened when you don't understand it. Like in Git there are different branches. Like first of all there is a master branch. All right. And from the master branch you can have some branches, some sub branches from that. So that suppose you are working on one feature, suppose Ankit is working on one feature in Flipkart, and then you are working on the another feature on Flipkart. But if you are working on the same master branch, then there might be some conflict. So to avoid that, we create branches in the Git, that this team A is working on this feature in the website, and team B is working on this feature. So they are working independently, and once they are done with their job, then they can merge those changes to the master branch. Okay, so this is a overview, like and also it acts as a backup also. Like this is like in Git, it is a like I would explain it in the next slide, that it is a distributed version control system. So everybody has the copy of uh, latest data. So suppose your system crashes, you can collect that data from the other person or from the central repository. So this ensures that the data is always safe. Even if your device got corrupted or stolen, still you have the data. That is very helpful. So until now, any doubt? Any one of you?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, so I am going a bit slowly. So Prasan, don't mind. So like slowly, I would pick up the pace and. Uh,
Yeah, it's completely okay.
okay, thank you. So now this is a like brief overview of how things happened. So earlier what used to happen, there was a centralized system. Like suppose you think there is a server central server, and all the data is present on that. And what you are doing, like you are if you want to perform any action, then you have to be connected over the internet, and then you can do any version control. This was the initial system. Like if I give you the example of subversion, but slowly in subversion also, then there came some clients, like there were uh, tortoise svn, or these what these did, they provided you a local repository that you can work on. But whenever you wanted to make any changes to those files, you have to upload them to the central server. So if central server is down, then your whole work is stopped. If it is down for a day, then you cannot work. Like you cannot because you may be making changes, other person would also be making changes, but you are not in sync that what changes you guys have made. So that was the initial trouble there, and that is where like Linus Torvalds, he created Git because he wanted it to be distributed, decentralized. So there is like most companies, what they do have a central server, but it is just for the like uh, syncing purpose, so that anybody new, he can collect the data from that. Like you are a new employee and you want data, so you will pull it from that central server. It is not mandatory, but in big organizations, it is the de facto. All right. So there are like you would hear the terms in version control, subversion, or you can say SVN, CVS. Those were the free tools. Then IBM had a clear case, which is now very less used. Then there is Perforce. Then Microsoft also has TFS. So these things were centralized servers. So these were like old tools. So they required the connection to the centralized server for most applications. Nowadays, what is happening is that more than 85% of organizations, they are using Git. So you can understand the dominance that Git has. So then came this distributed server. There is Mercurial also. It's also free, but Git has more features and it is more used. So here, most of the operations are local. So you can make the changes there in isolation. It helps in the experimentation also. Like you don't have to like depend on anybody else. You can make the changes on your local system, and that way it can ensure that there is people can experiment and they can see what is happening with this code and all. So if I would say like there are like uh, few functions, like suppose you want to collect data from that central repository. Now, how would you connect it? It's on the internet only. For those thing, like if you want to send your data to the central repository so that others know that you have made these changes, these things like sending data is pushing. Okay. And if you are collecting data from the central repository, that is pulling. All right, this is the basic things, basic commands that we will be encountering later. So there is pull command, push command, patch command. These commands required connection to the central server or internet. Otherwise, most of the other commands we can do without internet also. So now any query here till now?
Yeah, so hey, I have a question. So
Mm-hmm.
if we are doing all most of the operations local, how is it maintaining that version control like without internet? Um, you're saying that with Git it's decentralized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And without the internet, I can make changes. Let's say, for example, to a file.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I am making a change to a file, how is it updating for other user?
So that's what I got your question, Asan. So, like, understand that I said that most operations are local, but like Git pull, Git push, these uh, commands, these require central server. These require
Okay.
internet. I just said
So,
before your
so
question.
okay. So when you make a change locally, then you have to run one of these commands that will push the change to a centralized server, right? Like git push. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
because like what exactly happens is that first of all, you have to, before committing the changes to the central repository, you have to first of all pull. Okay, that is the best practice. That first of all, you have to pull and see that nobody else has made the similar changes. So once you pull, your repository is now latest. Okay,
Okay.
and then you push to the central repository. These operations require internet.
Okay. Okay.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, so thanks for asking. So Ankit, any question from your end? Okay, I'm taking it as no query. So Ankit, you can hear me, right? It's not like that. Ankit has dropped.
Sir, Ankit has dropped. Wait, I will check with him.
So Asan, you have studied Git and Git, but like coming to the
I
like these small things, then these would help you in understanding more clearly that why Git is used and why it is the most important tool in the version control.
Actually, this is good for me because in my last, not the one I'm working at, but in my last project, they introduced Git in the environment. But I think after a couple
Uh,
of months, I had to
Actually,
change
he
my
may
job.
have the network issues. It may be. I will call him and I will take the updates, sir. You can continue with the session.
Okay, okay. Okay, so you were saying that Git was introduced there. So did you got a
Yeah, but then
chance to work on it?
not heavily. After a couple of months, I changed my job. So
Mm-hmm.
in the current project, I don't have Git. They
Okay.
are planning to introduce it. So that's why I want to be ready when they do it.
So any tool that they are using for versioning, or is it for
No,
developers
actually.
only?
Yeah. So I am in the manufacturing department,
Mm-hmm.
but they are going to introduce here as well over in the overall environment. Right now, I think some developers are using it. Uh, they have their own Git central server and they have their own environment set up, but we don't have access to it.
Yeah, so that's
Or
the beauty of Git. Yeah, it can be used in any industry, any department. Designers can use it, system admins can use it, because we would have files like in Ansible, those files if we want to save, Docker files we want to save, all those things we can keep it on Git. So it's not necessarily for the developers only.
right, right.
So which all flavors you have used in Unix?
Almost every flavor, except I think Debian and all. I've used almost every. RHEL. I've worked mostly, obviously, on RHEL and SUSE. I started with AIX. I'm working on Ubuntu now. Solaris, I have limited experience.
Hmm.
Not everyone uses Solaris now.
Right, right. So actually, like we would be covering RHEL mostly in the course, because RHEL is, it's the most commercial used. So,
Yeah,
but if you like, I don't think you would be facing any trouble with using it on Ubuntu or any way. But if you face any trouble, like you can ask me, and then I can provide you the link or explanation that how you can do that on Ubuntu. So mainly we would be covering RHEL and Ubuntu, but mostly it would be focused on RHEL. So
sure. Yep. That's good.
actually, like in the initial stages, these problems can occur, like joining, rejoining, and all those things, and then like in the meeting. So I don't want to like move to the next part, unless I get a confirmation from Aisha, because like that way, like it would go over the top of him, because mainly now
Hello.
yeah, Aisha.
Yes, sir. I'm thinking that he may have the network issues. I will send him the recorded session, sir. You can continue with the Ashan only.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
mainly like the concept I have explained, Asan. So now we will try to do the hands-on a bit. So uh, now let's try to install Git.
Okay.
So there is like you would have some virtual machine where you can install Git on Linux, and similarly you can install Git on Ubuntu, and you can install it on Windows also. So let me start. Have you installed Git, Asa?
And no, I haven't.
Okay, so like the simplest way for installing Git on Windows is like you just download the Git. Okay, and I'm just sharing this so that like Ankit can also understand. If he wants to like explain do this on Windows for the initial basis, so he can do that. So you just go here, downloading it, and then This is the latest version 2.27, which was released 30 days ago. So we are going to install that, and it will give you all the features that you have on a Linux machine. So all the Git functions you can operate over uh, this feature. So I had uninstalled that just for a overview. Let me show that. So just simple next thing.
So do they install Git on Windows? Is this the centralized central server you're installing, or is just a package?
No, it's just a package where you can perform all your local duties. And for a central server, like you can use a like GitHub account. You know about GitHub?
No,
like
I don't.
Git is this is Git bash. Okay, this is a command line interface, and similarly you can use a GitHub account where it is a GUI mode. So like if I show you GitHub, you can make your account here, github.com. So this way you can create an account here, and you can sign in, and this way, like whatever steps you are doing here on this command line interface, most of those operations you can do that on the graphical user interface also. All right, so a lot of companies are using GitHub, or they are using this other tools, Bitbucket. These different tools are being there. So that way you can understand that you can create repositories here. Like suppose I show you this. This is a Git repository. Okay, and then you can download it on your command line interface also by using this clone command. I will come to everything. So first of all, let us just do this basic installation of command line. After command line, I will come to the graphical user interface, because actually Git was, it was developed by Linus Torvalds. So it was mainly oriented to the to the command line interface, but slowly the graphical user interface version is also evolving, and it is now mature. So but the features that are coming in Git, so they are initially they are launched uh, in the command line interface mode, and then they are brought to the graphical user interface. So the safe bet would be to learn the command line interface, CLI. So this way, like you can, like everything is fine. So here you can choose the like your default editor also. So Vim, that's fine. Even you can use a Notepad++, Visual Studio Code, Atom, Sublime, text. All these you can use, but we would use Vim only just for like for the Linux feel. And after that, this is the like using Git from Git bash only. So and then Git from the command line, and also from the third-party software. This is the recommended one. So we would do this. Then open SSH. All these like simple tasks, like just next in the windows. So uh, even like for the like Linux installation is simple, but this is the like default like all right, this is we don't need it right now. It's just a utility feature. So like it provides you all the uh, data.
Yeah. So are you going to show on Windows
I'm going to
or
show on Linux.
okay.
So this is just for the like initial setup, so that Ankit can also make, if you want on Windows initially, then he can do that. So I had configured it. So all those commands that you want to run, all those commands can be run here. So Aisha,
Yes, sir.
actually the meeting time is, could you please like extend it?
Sir, actually, the Zoom is for only 40 minutes. You can rejoin the session, sir. Means same link. You have to join in the same link.
No, but earlier we used to, like, you used to extend the session.
Oh, okay, I will try, sir, if it is possible, because I didn't remember. I will try once. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So Asan, like, let's just wait for a minute, because unless if this meeting gets over, then we will start the Linux installation on the in the next like once we rejoin.
Okay.
So till this, like that is just for hands-on, so that like if you want a quick installation, and if you want to practice, that is there for the uh, on the Windows part. But mainly we would be covering it on the Linux only. So
Okay. Sure.
uh, any questions till now? Like, this is like Windows is self-explanatory. Everything, everything is just next,
Mm,
next. So
no, no, we're good.
okay, okay. So I hope this timing suits you.
Yeah.
This,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Yeah, sir. Sir, earlier I didn't do anything to extend the meeting. Uh, let's see, sir. It will. If it will go on, means we can continue the session,
No,
or
because
else you
actually,
can
like,
join,
yeah, yeah.
rejoin.
Okay, because actually earlier, like 10-15 minutes before the meeting end, it was automatically getting renewed. So I thought that was
Maybe because of the recording option, it has extended. I also don't know why it has done. Now I'm seeing all the options. There is no option like extend the timings of the zone. So I
okay.
also don't know. Yeah, sir.
Okay, so
So
we,
who is setting up this meeting? I mean, whenever they are setting up, they should set it up for an hour, right?
But the Zoom is for only 40 minutes. The link is activated for only 40 minutes in Zoom. Uh,
Well, I mean, you have the option to set it up for an hour.
I have done, but I didn't saw any option like that. That's why. Okay, next time I will check with that. Okay.
okay, sure.
If we have the session in go-to meeting, means we can have the unlimited time in the go-to meeting. But I have heard that in Zoom we have only the 40 minutes of time for the
Actually,
session. I heard.
yeah, yeah, I shine Zoom in the, like, in the free account, it's like 40 minutes, but in the,
Yes,
like,
sir.
in the paid account, there is it's unlimited. So we can
Yes,
sort that
actually we
out.
are using only free account only. We are not using the paid accounts. So
Okay, so let's do one thing. Aisha, send another link to
yeah, you
Hassan.
can join the same link, sir. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the trouble,
If it
Hassan. So yeah.
yeah.
So
So should we leave and rejoin?
let's
Wait
ju-
a minute, sir. Let's see if it is not disconnected, means we can continue now, sir.
yeah. So let's just
Why?
wait for like 30 seconds or so. It's just showing less than a minute. So Hassan, you can have a quick break. So let's see.
No, I don't know how it's working like that because I have been in Zoom meetings for hours and hours, and